In this 10-hour video essay, we're gonna be exploring and deep diving into why I think that the 2011 anime Mayo Chiki is very, very, very mid. Yeah. Part 1. The origins of storytelling. I won't lie to you guys because I'm very invested in our parasocial relationship, so, I won't lie. I'm not that passionate about this video. I don't even feel like taking out the camera and recording this entire thing, so I'm just gonna use the audio. And again, in the previous video, I mostly just used like still images to showcase the show, but so I'll just do that again, but with the mic. Because the thing is, I'm not that passionate about this one. It took me a while to get to this video because, well, I was really just struggling to actually watch some of these shows. Because, I'm gonna be honest, some of them are not good. I had more fun watching Oreimo than one of these shows. We'll get to that one later. When I first had this idea, I really thought like, man, this is gonna be so much fun. Revisiting these like nostalgic shows that I used to watch when I was like 16 or something. Oh man, this is gonna be awesome. But yeah, you know the saying that maybe when we were all like, oh my god, the movies and the music that we listen today, it's crap, it's dog. Everything before in the past was way better. But sometimes when you actually go back to the past, you take off those nostalgia goggles, you realize that, oh, the stuff that I used to like wasn't actually that good. And that has really hit me with like the 2010 ones and this one, because besides Steins skates and Durarara, all of these shows, the other shows, have just been really just whatevers. High School of Death gave it a 6. Oreimo gave it a 6. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, Angel Beats. Yeah, that was also a 6. Like what the And now we're gonna talk about Mayo Chiki. And I'm gonna be brutally honest, this show is boring. I can't really call this show like fully bad because, well, it accomplishes what it's trying to be. It is trying to be a slice of life romantic comedy with a bit of a edge to it. That's what it's trying to be, and yeah, it accomplishes that. But it does absolutely nothing to stand out from all the other billion slice of life romantic comedies with a bit of a edge to them. The plot revolves around this dude who has like a phobia for girls. He can't be near girls, and he gets like nosebleed. Basically, he has pervert syndrome. And once again, we have a protagonist who is just this socially awkward, introverted incel who deep inside is just a really nice dude and just outstanding man. In his school, there's like this rich girl who comes like from a rich family. Her family like owns the school or something, and she brings her butler to the school, and all the girls are wild for the butler because he is so hot. But one day, when going to the bathroom, the main character walks in on the butler on the toilet, and oh boy, turns out the butler is a girl. A cross-dresser, if you will. Insert generic girl screams at boy, boy runs, and girl tries to kill boy, and then boy falls onto girl, groping boobs, and ha ha ha, the funnies. After all the silly scenarios, the main character wakes up in the nurse's office, and the rich girl who owns like the school, or her family owns the school, shows up. And turns out that Subaru, the butler girl, turns out that she comes from like a family that has been serving the rich girl's family, and every single butler has been a male, but there is no male. Her father didn't produce a male, so he only has a daughter, but she really wants to be a butler. And then like the rich girl's father put like a test saying, if you can go through all 3 years of high school with nobody knowing you're a girl, then fine, you can be a butler. But oopsie-doo, the main character found out that Subaru is a girl. What to do? The rich girl comes up with this dumbass plan that makes no sense. She says that, oh, you know our secret, you know Subaru is a girl, and you have ruined Subaru's entire future of becoming a butler, so now we have to kill you. But unless you can keep your mouth shut, and to make sure you keep your mouth shut, we're gonna constantly keep an eye on you for some reason. Even in this same scene, she says that she gave the nurse a bunch of money to leave the room. So why don't you just do that? Why don't you just give him a bunch of money? You're rich. Give him 1 million yen and he'll probably shut up. Hell, he doesn't even fight or anything. He just says, sure, I won't tell anybody. But they're like, no, we can't trust you. Why not? Just throw him some money and he'll shut up. So yeah, the plot doesn't make any sense. The whole point of this show is just to have this silly scenario where you have this guy who finds out about the secret and now they have to keep an eye on him. And to keep an eye on him and Subaru, the butler, have to go on a bunch of dates. And insert generic slice of life romantic comedy anime shenanigans where they go into town, they go into amusement park, they go into a swimming pool, and comedy, and some drama too. The entire school believes that Subaru is a man. And the school sees Subaru as a man hanging out with the main character who's also a man. The school gets the idea that they're a gay couple. There is this a cult or a fan cult in the school that worships Subaru, and they want to kill the main character because, well, he has stolen their prince. But then there is another group, another cult, if you will, who also loves Subaru, but in a different way. They don't love Subaru in the sense that they want to be with him. They ship him with the main guy. They are a yaoi fan club. The rich girl comes up with this whole thing about Subaru and the main guy going on dates because Subaru has to keep an eye on the main guy so he doesn't spill the whole secret. But they also want to help the main guy with his girl phobia, and they think him going on dates with Subaru will fix that. The plot is very basic and generic. The animation is just standard. The original score, for the show, is just your standard slice of life comedy anime, nothing special. If you're a fan of slice of life romantic comedies with a bit of an edge, I think you would enjoy this on some level, I think, but it's not gonna blow your mind. I'm giving Mayo Chiki a 6 out of 10. It's closer to a 5. It's very mid to just kind of okay. If you enjoy it, if you enjoy these kind of shows, I would say it's a 6 out of 10. If you're not a huge fan of it, it's a 5 to even maybe almost a 4. But in the end, painfully mid. Alright, let's talk about something that is actually really bad. Mirai Nikki, or The Future Diary, is
Screw you! Llegaba el agua hasta el restaurante. Había subido la marea. Jesús, hay que hacer ahora con los 2 sacos de arroz. ¡Ay, llama para Sevilla! ¡Llama a Sevilla que traigo un país!
peak dog. I feel ashamed that I used to like this, or I thought this was good when I was 16 or 17. But I feel that a lot of people go through that. They used to like something when they were kids, and then they revisit it when they're adults, and they think, ooh, I used to like this. Ooh. I feel like a lot of women that are in their late 20s, in early to late 20s, that used to watch Twilight or read the books, they probably look back on that thinking, oh yeah, no, Twilight, no, that wasn't good. I used to like it, but man, that's not good. I think 17-year-old Chris was just too busy simping for the psycho girl that he just didn't notice how terribly written this show is. I can't really blame the writers of the show because this is a manga adaptation, so it's the manga artist, the one who wrote the manga. This plot is awful. This show is responsible for popularizing the the death game, battle royale genre that we see in animes. Nowadays, every fucking year, there is like one edgy battle royale survival game anime, and it's all because of this one. But this plot, oh my lord, it feels like a 12-year-old wrote this. There is no logic to anything. Just happens because, and the world just reacts. Sometimes the world reacts to stuff, and sometimes it just doesn't because plot convenience. This show is the reason this video has been in like development hell, because it took me it was so hard to watch it. I had to drop it. I did not finish it. I could not. It was that bad. But don't worry, I do remember it. The entire thing. I remember this show from start to finish. I know how it ends. But I just could not rewatch it. It's so bad. The plot revolves around this... Think of the biggest you could imagine and make him the main character of a survival death battle royale game. This dude cannot make any decision on his own. Everybody has to do it for him. He always cowers, he always whimpers out, and everybody, his psycho girlfriend, always has to bail him out. The fact that she likes him so much just baffles me. This guy is such a wimp. He talked to her once. He talked to her once, and she fell in love with him instantly, to a point where she will kill people for him. Gosick, the most famous yandere of them all. Her mental stability is so inconsistent. Sometimes she comes across as like a bit of a cuckoo weirdo that has a couple of screw loose, but you know, but she can't be reasonable, she can't be, you know, reasoned with. And other times, she's just a batshit insane lunatic who just cannot be reasoned with. There is a god who is dying, and he needs to choose like a successor. Chooses a bunch of people, gives them like the ability to see the future, and then pits them against each other in this like death battle royale game. And the winner gets to be a god. But why is he picking some of the most worst people imaginable? One of the people he picks is a 5-year-old who's a murderer. Why? One of them is like this evil professor who likes to disassemble dogs and turn them into robot dogs. Yeah, I'm sure he will be a great god. Another one was like a serial killer who kills women. Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna be a great god. Oh yeah, there also was this girl who's like a cultist and is revered as a god already. I'm sure she's gonna be an even better god when she becomes a god. And then you also have Yuno, who is probably gonna be the greatest god of them all. Oh wait, guess what? She is a god from another universe. Yeah, that's the big twist of the whole series. It turns out that Yuno already is a god from another world. Turns out she has already played this game, and it ended with her and Yuki being the last people standing, and they decided to commit suicide and to get no. Oh yeah. Yuki commits suicide so Yuno can become a god, and then she will use her god power to bring him back to life. But oopsie, you can't do that. So now Yuno is a god and her dude is dead. So she goes into another universe, or like an alternate universe, kills herself in that universe, and then proceeds to play the game all over again. But now her end game is to have Yuki become the god. This whole twist feels like it was just made up on the spot, because why doesn't she just kill all the other contestants and then just go, well, kill me so you can become a god, or something like that? I don't know. But no, they have to play the game, and by playing the game, she's constantly putting Yuki's life at risk. And also, the way she acts, like, shouldn't she know? Like, the way she acts when they meet, like, other diary users, she acts like she doesn't know these people. But she does! She knows these people. She knows what they're capable of. But her reaction when they, like, betray Yuki, she's always like, what? No way! They're gonna kill Yuki? Like, shouldn't you already know this? Like in the beginning, where the maid girl, like the one girl with the pink dress, the terrorist, where she like shoots up the school, and all of Yuki's classmates give him up, and she's just like, what? They gave Yuki up? No way! Like, didn't that already happen in your world? The plot is bad. The characters are bad. The writing is bad. The animation is mid. The music is mid. As it stands, I have Mirai Nikki as a 6 out of 10. Fine or okay. Yeah, that's gonna go down to a 4. Bad. Alright, let's talk about something actually like good. I'm not gonna spend too much time on Steins Gate because, well, it's Steins Gate, and Steins Gate is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. With 2010 and 2011, they're surrounded by these like mediocre crap, but there's always like that one golden little gem. In 2010 it was Durara, and in 2011 it's Steins Gate. It is one of the best written animes out there. It is one of the best written time travel stories of all time. It has some of the best characters that have been featured in anime. Steins Gate is just solid, amazing, watch it, it's a 10 out of 10, and it still is a 10 out of 10. I was gonna watch Puella Motogamachika, but I just couldn't be bothered. I have no interest in this show. I barely even remember it. So when it came to rewatching it, I put it off. I watched the other shows, but now it was time to watch that one. I just could not muster the motivation to do it. So I am changing. You know, some might say that I maybe did a mistake that by choosing like the popular ones. I should have chosen by rating instead. Because, you know, popularity doesn't equal quality. I chose popularity because I thought, oh, you know, probably most people have seen it, so it probably would get the most engagement out of these videos. But when I'm watching these popular shows, a lot of them are just really mid and forgettable, and some just bad. But yeah, I don't want to watch Puella Motogamachika. I'm sure it's good, but I just don't want to bother with it. So I'm gonna watch another show instead. It's called Gosick. I haven't watched it yet because, you know, I was planning on watching Motogamachika, but I'm gonna turn off this recording here and watch the show, and then I'll get back to you. But, you know, it's still gonna be the same video, so for you it's just gonna be a seconds, but for me it's gonna be a few days. So yeah, bye. Before we get into the next show that we're gonna talk about, Gosick. Before I get into that, because there's something I wanna compare Gosick to Mirai Nikki. Both Gosick and Mirai Nikki have something in common. Both of them are mysteries, or kind of like, you know, they have this mystery going on. And I want to compare the writing, quality-wise, in Gosick and Mirai Nikki. There is a thing when it comes to the mystery genre, whether it's a murder mystery or, you know, whodunit or stuff like that, whatever, just any kind of mystery. There is a secret to writing it. And what is the most important is mostly, you know, the little details, being subtle, and foreshadowings. In the case of Mirai Nikki, there is no foreshadowing. It feels like the writer of Mirai Nikki just like started to write. He was like, oh, I have this kind of basic concept, just writing. And like halfway through the story, he just decided, oh hey, I have an idea. What if Yuno Gosai was a god from another world? Okay, I'm gonna implement that into the story, even though I didn't before. George R.R. Martin, a phenomenal writer, the writer of the Song of Ice and Fire, he once did an interview where he was talking about, you know, the concept of writing long books, or like a long book series. And he created the story, and he had this kind of concept in mind. And he, like, for example, in the books and the show, the character Jon Snow, we don't know who his mother is, or we're told his mother was just a prostitute that Ned Stark had sex with. But the twist is that his mother is actually Eddard Stark's sister, and his father is a Targaryen. And, you know, and he clearly had that planned out from the beginning. When he was writing the first book, he clearly had that whole thing planned out. But years ago, long before the show, people had already predicted it. Like, George went to he snuck on into like fan clubs or like fan forums on the internet, and people were already like predicting that Jon Snow's mother was Eddard's sister. But he didn't change it. It doesn't matter if the fans predicted the twist, because you've already set it up. And in this interview, he talks about if you
are writing a whodunit, and you've decided the butler did it, and you've designed all the clues and the foreshadowings and all that kind of stuff around the butler. You can't just halfway while writing the book series go, oh, people have figured out it's the butler. Okay, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna bamboozle the audience. That's cheating. That's not fair. One of my all-time favorite TV shows is Mr. Robot. And the reason why I love Mr. Robot so much is because the writing is so solid throughout the entire series. In season 1, in the first season, there is a moment where the main character, Elliot, is going through, he has a morphine addiction, and he's going through withdrawal syndrome, and he's having this, like, fever dream. And in the dream, he's at a restaurant eating with his, like, childhood friend, Angela. And she's like eating his pet goldfish, and she tells him, you aren't Elliot, you are Bleep. And you're like, what was that? But then the fever dream is just over, and you just kind of like, whatever, that was weird, whatever, doesn't matter. But then in season 4, the final season, it is revealed, we see that scene play out again, but now we hear it. She says, you aren't Elliot, you are the master. For those of you who haven't seen Mr. Robot, I'm not going to spoil what that means, but if you have seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. The creator, Sam Asmiel, had the story complete. When he wrote the first episode, he already knew where everything was going to end up. And I personally think that's very important when you're a writer. You need to have an ending. You need to have something in mind. You can't just start writing and then halfway through the story just go, but what if I do this? And that is what Mirai and Nikki does. When the twist of Yuno being a god, it feels like it was just made up out of nowhere, like halfway through the story. And that is what brings me to Gosick. Gosick is also a mystery, but the writing is far, far, far superior here. I really enjoyed Gosick. I saw it a few years ago. It's not my first time watching this show. Some years ago, me and my brother, we were like doing this like kind of game where we would pick random animes, watch one episode, and then done. And we watched one episode of Gosick, and I found it quite interesting, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch that one. Now, years later, I'm rewatching it, and my god, it's just as good as I remembered it. The story, it takes place in like a fictional country in Europe. It's called Sibior, and it's like located between like Italy. It's a fictional country. It does not exist, but it's located in Europe, and it's 1920. We've just like the World War I has recently just ended, and yeah, the world is kind of just getting back to its normal like state. The main character is a foreign exchange student from Japan, and he comes to like this European school. Because he's a foreigner, he's Asian, he has black hair, dark eyes, he's immediately called the Black Reaper that comes in spring. The Black Reaper that comes in spring is like a school ghost story, and people think he brings like bad luck. What I like about this like first episode of Gosick is that it sets up a lot of stuff. There's a lot of like ghost stories. The school is really built around these like ghost legend. The Reaper, the Golden Fairy of the library, the Alchemist. There's like all these little things. Beast Ramon, Beast Sharon. There was all these like when he goes into the library and reads these like bunch of ghost stories and legends, and they're all relevant to the plot.
The Queen Berry, a ghost ship that appears during stormy nights. Or Leviathan, the alchemist who takes the guts of the dead to make gold. The genius Grey Wolf, capable of learning and speaking human language.
When he's like reading them out, like, Alchemist, the Golden Fairy, Beast Sharon, you're just thinking like, whatever, the ghost ship, you're like, whatever, but they're all relevant to the plot. It feels that the writer had the whole story planned out. The plot mostly revolves around the foreign exchange student and the girl that he meets in the library, who is, she's blonde, has like emerald green eyes, and she looks like a doll. But she's an incredible detective. She has this like superpower brain of taking all the little details and putting them together and solving mysteries. And that is pretty much the plot. They go to places, there's some mystery going on, and they solve it. Sprinkle in some political drama, romantic comedy, slice of life elements, and you got yourself a pretty damn good mystery show. I highly recommend Gosick. I really enjoyed it, and I rated it an 8 out of 10, and yeah, it stays that way. 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Okay, thank you for joining me yet again at another one of these. And I've already started watching the 2012 shows. The first one that I'm currently checking out is Hyoka. Besides Hyoka, I will also be checking out another Sword Art Online and Psycho Pass. So look forward to that one if you want. Anyways, I'm gonna check out now. Goodbye.